time we travel many roads.
Oh, I guess probably a month, maybe a month and a half ago, for about $13, I ordered a capacitor diode and ESR meter on eBay, and I've had it here for a while. It even came with a Uncle Dorkel stamp, and I'll show you that in a minute. Now, one of my YouTube friends, and also I'm subscribed to him, Doug's Electronic Repair Bench. If you haven't checked him out, please do so. He has some interesting videos, and I wished I could get back into the hobby again, but my eyesight, or as you can see, I got absolutely no room, and I'd have to have air conditioning out here and everything else, even if I did have the room, and we can't do that. But anyways, now I ordered the meter, and I'll show you that in a minute. But first of all, about a month ago, I ordered a plastic box from eBay. It just came in today. It was supposed to be here sometime in July or early August. It's a plastic box that I'm going to put my ESR meter in, because the meter does not come with a box. But that project is not going to be started until the weather gets a hell of a lot cooler. I can't work in this heat. I'm standing here, and the sun is hitting me right here, and I can hardly breathe with this stuffy air. And anything over 80 degrees, I can't take it. We got our AC on in the house, and it's 72, 73 in there. So, anyways, now if you watch Doug's videos, he had Ron C., another one of my good YouTube friends, make him a case for his ESR meter, what they call printing, 3D printing. I'm not familiar with that at all. It's amazing how that works. I can't quite understand it, and I did read up a little bit on it, but it's something that's very complicated. But anyways, Ron made him up a nice case to go for his meter, and that inspired me to do my thing with my meter. So before we get any further, I want to open this up for you, and then also want to show you my ESR meter, which eventually will go in this case. It won't be as nice as what Doug has that Ron made up for him, but I think it'll work out all right once I get good weather to do something with. So this is the show and tell video right now. So right now I'm going to show you. All right, the first thing, I want to show you the ESR meter. Now it's very delicate, and for some reason these don't come in cases. Now if you ever order one of these, make sure you get the one with the blue knob, not the orange knob. The quality is better on the screen here. And what this will do with a 9-volt battery in the holder here, you put a 9-volt battery. I got these at the dollar store, 2 of these heavy duty. They're not alkaline, but it doesn't draw that much current. And I doubt you'll be able to see that, but let me put the battery on it and see if it'll show up. Yeah, it's testing, but there's no battery. There's no, I don't know if you can see that or not. There's a lot of reflection out here. But it is a lighted screen, and I'm shading it here. You can see a pretty green outline on that. So it's very good. But we'll take the battery out for now. All right, now on Doug's meter, Ron made him up a nice little case that takes the whole meter right in with the holes and everything else. Mine is going to be more of a Rube Goldberg, poor man's way of doing it. And what this meter does, in case you don't know, it checks diodes, it checks capacitors, electrolytics, and mylar and paper capacitors and so forth, and it'll check ESR, which is effective series resistance. Whereas an electrolytic ages, the internal resistance goes up. So depending on the capacity and the voltage of the electrolytic under test, there's a chart you go by, which this does not have, that'll tell you like a 10 microfarad electrolytic at 25 volts will be so much of an ESR reading. And the lower the resistance reading, the better the capacitor is. Anyways, I can't use it this way. It's got to be in a case. It can get damaged very easily. And it comes with these little leads. And offhand, I don't have the link to the EB seller. I guess I could find it, and if I find it, I'll post it on my video here. The leads are very, very thin and flimsy. What I plan on doing, there's no instructions with this, so you kind of like have to use it. And Doug has been using his for a while, and I guess he uses the first 3 pins on the left side here. So what I plan on doing is putting this in a case, connecting these wires up, and coming out with a heavier duty connector on the outside of the case I am making. Not 100% sure about that though. All right, so right now, let me show you, let me open the other package. All right. You know, I don't know how, this is seller in China. I don't know if you can read that. But how the heck did they get a hold of Uncle Dorkel stamps, I'll never know. But anyways, we got one of, that looks like Hack Bar. Matter of fact, yeah, they're both Hack Bar stamps. So I guess Hack Bar is pretty popular in China. So now you're hearing, these are screws. There's supposed to be 4 screws that hold the top cover on. Now let's open this up. Now this, I was looking online for quite a while. I want to save those stamps. A case that would not be so deep, but yet I want it deep enough to accept the 9-volt battery and the 9-volt battery holder. I want everything to fit inside this case. So this case is a little bit big for the ESR meter, but that's okay. Just put that here. Let me see, what screw size is this? Yeah. Obviously they put 2 screws in and left 2 out, and they're rolling inside the box here. This is some little rubber. This is supposed to be a waterproof box. So I guess you run the gasket around in here, but yeah, right. Like I'm going to be able to do that and keep it in there. Well, I guess you put it in here. But I'm not worried about the waterproofing end of it because I don't plan to take it deep sea fishing. But anyways, in order to get the dimensions this way and this way, I had to go with a box that was, well, it was 2 inches deep. That's the outside. It'll be a little less counting the thickness of the plastic. And of course, this here is about 3/8 inch here, probably about a quarter, well, about 3/8 here and a half out here, I'm estimating. So my intention is to cut a square opening. Now this is ABS plastic. This is not fiberglass. So I have to be able to cut an opening for the LCD screen, and if I use that same thing here, if I use this, then I'm going to have to cut in that also, cut out the hole for that. So the intention is, I didn't realize, I know they had 40s, and I didn't realize that, you see how that's made there? I knew about the 4 holes, but this is a little bit of a problem here. This may not allow me to get the battery holder in. I think it will this way. And if that's the case, this is a perfect depth, because I need the depth, because I don't want the battery holder to stick up in the air. I want everything all in one case. So, turning this over and putting this down like this, of course I'd have to cut out the where the green part is. I'd have to cut out, this is glass here. This whole thing is very delicate. This lifts up like that. And it's a backlighted screen. So it's very delicate, and you got a ribbon cable here, and you don't want to break that. I would never be able to get in there with my bad eyesight to try to fix it. It's only like $12, $13. It's not all that much of money. I saved up my dollars for that one. So, not going to be done today because I need cooler weather. I can't work in heat and humidity. So what we're going to do is, when the time comes, we're going to make a template of this, and draw it on the inside of this, and the hardest part is going to be cutting this out without making it ragged edges. I don't know if my Harbor Freight tool will work on this. That's kind of big for that. It might do it, I don't know. The problem is I can't experiment. I don't have another ABS plastic that I can experiment on. So that's my intention, is to mount this in this box. And my method of madness is going to be, where these holes are here, they're going to be spacers that hold this thing up. That'll hold this thing up like this and centered. Of course, naturally it'll have to be over to the side in order to get the battery in there. And if I have to cut a little bit of this out of there, I will do it. But you see, there's screw holes that go right through. Right here. And I guess you mount it that way if you have to. I'm probably off damn camera as always, as I can't see the viewfinder, it's too small. That little hole there goes right out through here. So if I have to cut it, I will. So this will be sitting up. As a matter of fact, I don't really want to do it this way, but the insulating this, off camera again as always, insulating this and putting the battery pack like this, and then dropping the whole thing in the box, still needs spacers. but I think that'll do it. But the problem is I have to pull out, unscrew. There'll be long screws going through the bottom of this. There'll be 4 screws. There's a mounting here, one here, one here, and one here. So all we got to do is make a template of this on the bottom, wherever we're going to center this. Drill up from the bottom. You can measure it from the bottom. Mark the holes here. We're going to make a template though. We're going to make it out of heavy paper, so we can be perfectly accurate, because these components are preventing me from sitting it right down flat. And we could be off a little bit, just like I'm always off damn camera all the time. What I really need is a monitor, a big monitor for my videos, so I can look at the monitor and see if I'm off or on. But the problem is I can't use this camera. I'd have to have a different camera system. I like the Kodak because my last video I uploaded, the very last one that you just seen, was made at 720p using the Samsung W200. That was 1.3 gigabytes. That's way too big to upload. I mean, it'll work, but it takes quite a while. I took that file and ran it through, that 1.2 gig file, and ran it through Sony Movie Studio. As long as I don't do too much complicated editing, it works fine. Run it through, and it came out to 200 megabytes, and it still looked just as good. So, and as MP4. They're saved as MP4. That's what I do on my videos. Everything else looks crappy. So, anyways, that's what I'm going to do here. So right now, so we don't lose anything, we're going to put the cap back on, because I'm not going to be doing anything on this right away. We're going to put all 4 screws in so we don't lose them, because I'm always losing things. If I drop something on the ground, I can work with stuff this size. As long as I got enough magnification, I can work with stuff this size. So, I got to give them feedback now that I just got it. This makes it easy. I can service it, change the battery, and only have to remove 4 screws out of this. Like I say, if I think of it, I'll put a link to the eBay seller. Matter of fact, as I recall, I think this is the one. I think they were. This is the last one they had. You see, I could get. I wanted the width and the length to be the same. I mean, you know, large enough, but I didn't want the depth any more than 1 inch inside depth. This is 2 inches on the outside. That counts from here to here. But that's fine. I mean, that's going to be good and rugged. It's the hardest part for me is to cut into the ABS plastic. I've got a Dremel tool. I don't know how well it's used. I mean, I've cut plastic years and years and years, and most of the time I crack it trying to cut it. Now, if you remember on Uncle Dorkel's remote control that Steve sent me, the great big box, I showed you that recently in this last video here of testing out the camera. That is fiberglass, and that was very easy to drill into and file and everything else. This is ABS plastic. It may be okay, but it could crack on me, and I wouldn't want that, because I want that finish to be beautiful. And then when I cut out for that, then I'm going to I go down to my local hardware store, and he cuts plexiglass for me, any size I want. He usually has the little scrap pieces, and he cuts them for me. Actually, I guess they score them and break them off. So there'll be a little square piece of plexiglass to go on top of this, held down by 4 screws, which will go into this, but not so deep that it would hit the LCD display. So that's the verdict on this. So this will wait. This will have to wait until the weather gets a lot cooler. All right, sweating my blookies off here. And so when I had my shop, I had an air conditioner in it. It was a 6,000 BTU and it drew 10 amps. It was a real old one, but it worked good. But I can't put an air conditioner out here, that's for damn sure. When it gets cooler, I'll be working on that. But in the meanwhile, I'm going to be thinking about how I'm going to do this, and I got to get, like I say, the plexiglass. But I got to cut out the opening for that, and then I got to decide what I'm going to do about the little push-in terminal block where you push in the probe pins. It's going to be an instrument I'm not going to be using all that much, but those clip leads are very thin. And I had all that stuff in my shop. That's past history now. Anybody likes this kind of weather is nuts. I'm sorry. Unless you're in the air conditioning business, in the ice cream selling business, if you like this because you like heat, you're nuts. I'm sorry. That's me. Thank you for watching. And there'll be updates on this coming soon. Thank you. Did you know that the average person spends about 25 years in their lifetime sleeping?